today. Why'd you pick this
Why not?
station? Why not? Okay.
Well, what do you think the #1 issue in the country is right now? I know what it is when I go home. My wife tells me how much it costs to fill up the vehicle, let alone my constituents. So this is a pretty good place to highlight the differences between the two parties. We've been pushing pretty hard as a party, as Blaine said, to try and bring really meaningful legislation to the floor on the energy front. Nancy Pelosi, liberals in Congress have basically fought that every step of the way. They've gone home over August, and amazingly, and talking to voters, have sort of begun to change their views.
Energy is the #1 issue. My opponent had a press conference last week, and she went to the Boone County Health Department and talked about expanding the S-CHIPS program, which is a $71 billion tax increase. I think the tax and spend days are behind us. We have to have a bigger view of what the problems are. That particular issue is important, but it's not the issue that people are talking about today. Energy is the issue people are talking about. It affects every single person. It's a pocketbook issue. It's something we have got to solve. And at this point, not only the leadership in Congress on the other side of the aisle, but also locally here, my opponent has dropped the ball on this issue. It's not something that they're wanting to talk about because they're wrong on the issue. So I think being here today exemplifies my sincerity and the importance of this energy issue. It's extremely important. It's the issue that we need to talk about.
Is it the number?
If you can one more time go into greater detail about how to decrease the price of oil in a more timely manner?
Well, I think I think to decrease the price of oil, I think #1, the president came out the other day with his willingness to support offshore drilling, and now the price has dropped. I think if we have a national will and a national policy, we got the national will now. The people are behind us. We just need a national policy to do that. I think it'll come down to take the speculation out of the market, and then if we have American resources being used to solve this American problem, I think it can happen. But I think you have to have a diverse approach, not only to the oil problem, but also to the energy problem as a whole. And the electricity part of this energy problem has got to have a multifaceted approach. You don't want to. Diversity is going to be the key to being able to support. It's going to be the key to security of our nation, security of our energy success. So I think that's how you approach the problem.
Why the emphasis today? Like the first thing you talked about when you talked about energy was about drilling for more sources, I'm assuming offshore and maybe elsewhere. Why not more emphasis on alternative energy fuels like that instead of saying, hey, let's drill now first?
Actually, if I may, it's a combination of that. We have, as Blaine mentioned in his comments, something almost all Republicans support called the American Energy Act, which is all of the above. It says we need to do more in the area of renewables. I'm from a big oil and gas state. I have a large oil and gas presence in my district, but I also support wind power. And I carry legislation with one of the more liberal Democrats in the Congress to do just that. We're a state that also is very interested, as the country is, in biofuels. So those futuristic answers are important, and we need to develop them. But you also got to recognize all the renewable fuels combined, solar, wind, biomass, make up about 6 or 7% of what we use as a country. And so you're not going to get to energy independence anytime soon by just focusing on that. You want to develop and grow that, but at the same time, carbon-based sources, oil, natural gas, coal, provide about 80% of the energy of the country. And so frankly, in anybody's lifetime here, it's going to continue to be a very significant source of energy going forward. And that's where we have most of our disagreements with our friends on the other side. They pretty much are opposed to carbon-based energy. And frankly, they've not been very supportive of nuclear energy either, which is no emissions, it's the cleanest form, but obviously has challenges in terms of long-term waste disposal as well. We think technology offers a way to develop all those sources of energy in a responsible way, provide, as Blaine said, diverse energy sources for the people of this country and economic security going forward. Our opponents, frankly, haven't done that. They basically spent most of their time bashing the oil and gas industry, raising questions about nuclear energy instead of working with us to develop those sources along with the renewables. And so that, we've got a lot of different legs to this particular stool, and that's where security and reasonable prices are going to come from over the long term. But right now, finding additional supply, developing it offshore, ANWR, the Rocky Mountain Basin, places like that, where there's significant federal obstacles to it, or something I think the American people want us to address at the congressional level, and that we ought to be working on.
guys, we got a